Oh, this video can go one of two ways. You guys either think that I'm a spoiled brat living in Los Angeles, or you praise me for being a couponing queen. And I think the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to it if this is the first time you're seeing my face. Thank you for seeing it on your feed and clicking on it. That really means a lot to me. My name is Jacy and I like to do story times, chit chats, and rants on this channel. And I don't know what I would classify this video. Maybe a chit chat, but it's more so OG YouTube in the fact that we are doing a what I spent in a month in Los Angeles. Now, this is a video that was very popular for many years in terms of what I spent in a month or in a week living in X city as X kind of career. And I always really enjoyed those videos, especially when I was looking to move to a particular city. I would really look up to some vloggers and YouTubers and kind of the lifestyle that they lived. So when they did these types of videos, I'd be like, okay, so that's how much I would need to budget, and that's kind of how much discretionary spending I would need in order to live those type of lifestyles. So I actually found them very useful, except when a lot of people would just detail their discretionary spending. They didn't include their rent or their utilities or some of their built-in costs of living. So it wasn't really a holistic look into all of their expenses. So I really wanted to do a very, very holistic approach to detail literally every cent that I put onto my credit card this past month. So if you like videos like that, or if you like just hanging out with me and our community here, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you can join us for future fun videos coming up. If you like me even more than that, consider joining my YouTube membership where you get access to 2 vlogs a month. Again, thank you so much to my current members for supporting my channel. But with that being said, let's just get started into how badly my wallet might be hurting this past month. So before we get started, I of course need to include a section of background and disclaimers, mainly because whenever you talk anything finances here on YouTube, you are inviting a lot of negative attention and a lot of preconceived notions or judgments about your spending habits just based on one video. So let me just get all this out of the way. In terms of background, I actually recently saw a video of somebody doing an OG what I spent in a month video. And I was like, hey, I want to do that because I always found those super helpful. So I started thinking like, okay, I'll start for next month. Ooh, but next month I have a lot of flights to buy and oh, I kind of have to spend a lot next month. Maybe I can push all that to next month so I don't have to include it. Or maybe I can do this video in 2 months because that'll be a lighter spending month and that way people won't judge me as much. And then I realized I was already influencing some purchases that I hadn't even made because I wanted to come across as like some financial budgeting queen to you guys. And I was like, that's not very genuine. I don't want to do that. So what I instead did was I thought, let me do this video on what I've already spent this past month, where I wasn't influenced and thinking about trying to save money or trying to come across as like, oh, I don't spend, I save, and I eat top ramen every night. And so this is honestly just a true look into what I spent where I wasn't even thinking about a budget in that sense. In terms of budgeting, I do have kind of a rough amount that I know I can spend on discretionary spending. So please know what I spend in a month might seem like so much to you guys. It might be like, that's what I make in a month. How are you doing that? Or it might be like, that's all you're spending? Like, girl, treat yourself a little bit. Finances are wildly different. They range for everybody, and it all really is dependent on your income. So please know that what I'm spending in a month, I was comfortable with, or that it works for my income and what I have in my savings account, in my bank account. So just please know that. So with that being said, let's get started into the actual expenses that I had for the month of March. I've moved off to the side so I can include the breakdown, and I'll also be looking at my phone because I created a lovely little Excel spreadsheet. And then I realized I'm out of printer ink, so I just took photos of it on my phone. But here's the breakdown. So first, let's go over my fixed household cost. It's what I know I'm gonna pay every single month and what I can expect, and it's something I can consistently include into my overall expenses. First off would obviously be rent. For rent, I pay $1,550. That is both a lot for rent and not a lot for rent. It's not a lot for rent if you guys consider I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment in the ideal location for myself in Los Angeles, living alone. It is a lot of money if you don't want to dedicate that much to rent. You know, I get people all the time telling me to get a roommate or to downsize. No, don't tell me that. The rent price is the one thing I will not budge on. I love living alone. I would love to live alone for the rest of my life. I am in the perfect location. I have so much space in my apartment. I got such a deal on this apartment that I will die in this apartment. So don't tell me that I need to decrease my rent somehow. I am so happy, and that is the one non-negotiable for me to live a more peaceful and content life. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. But because of that, you will see some of the sacrifices that I make, because I know I do spend a little bit more on rent as opposed to dining out or going out to activities. So that might come into play later. But don't shame me for my rent, because that is the one thing that I am so happy about and so fine paying. So $1,550 there. Ugh, these two are annoying. So for Wi-Fi, it was $70. And then for my health insurance, it was $195. And I'm scoffing because it's one of those things where it's cheap in the first year, but then starting year 2, it goes up like $50. And so that was annoying, because I think my Wi-Fi before was like $50 a month and my health insurance like $120. Now it's almost $200. And it's catastrophic health insurance, you guys. That is the bottom tier. That is the lowest it can go. That is literally like if I break my arm and they take me into the hospital, they're like, you sure you want to pay this copay? Like, it's not good health insurance. But those are fixed costs. You got to have it, especially in California, it is required. So those are some more fixed costs there. And then in terms of gas, I pay between $5 and $10 in gas a month. So this month it was $7. And then lastly, I do pay for an identity protection. Make sure to check out that video where I gave a lot of sensitive information to the internet thinking it was to get some type of fast pass at the airport. It was a scam. So I did get identity protection just to protect myself for a year or two, and that's only $7.50 a month. So the total for my fixed household costs is $1,829. Again, that amount right there is a lot, but that's something that I knew when I moved to LA that I could afford based on my income. So please keep that in mind. Next is groceries. I go grocery shopping once a week, and I eat about 90% of my meals at home. I'm not a big foodie by any means, so I am fine eating the same exact thing every single day. The vlog members know this, that I'm eating the same breakfast. I eat salads every night. I make like coffee in the morning. It's the same, it's boring. So it's kind of funny because I have like pretty much the same amounts of grocery bills here, but it was just a lot of Ralph's and then one trip to Trader Joe's for a total amount of $212 spent on groceries. This is a pretty good number because to me that is what, $50 a week on groceries? That's not bad because that's kind of what I would spend going out to eat with a friend one time. But instead I get a week's worth of groceries. I am totally fine with that number. I will say what's interesting is that I was looking at the past 2 months' budget and my grocery bill was up like $100 because I really wasn't spending this much before. And it's because I started eating meat again. So I've started working out more and kind of moving my body more. So I have been necessitating protein, I guess, as the gym rats say, or I guess just general nutrition. And so I realized I probably need to start eating more meat just to get some of those protein intakes in. And meat's not cheap. Like a pack of chicken, I know it's only like $10, but that adds up and it clearly is an extra $100 a month. So that's just kind of interesting. Wanted to throw that in there. But $200 for groceries, I am a-okay with that. The next category is subscriptions, and I'll start off with the most expensive one, and that is my gym membership. I go to Orange Theory Fitness, and that is $135 a month. Very, very expensive gym. I never thought I would be paying over $100 for a gym membership. What's even more wild is that that is a finite amount of classes. That is only 8 classes a month. The unlimited pass, I think, is almost $200, and I was like, oh my God, no way. However, I think I will do a video on my Orange Theory experience because it truly has been the only gym that I've loved, but I have come to be so grateful for my gym membership that I am okay with this amount. It is still very expensive, and I have looked into other nearby gyms to see if there's anything cheaper. LA in general, in terms of gym locations, are near the $100 range. It's really annoying. There's a 24-hour fitness really close by me, you guys, and I was paying, I think, like $30 a month at my old 24-hour fitness years ago. Here it's like $80 for the same thing. You're just in Los Angeles. Super annoying. So that is pretty pricey, I will admit to that. The next subscription is actually more of a payment plan, but I put it in the subscriptions. I paid $64 for my season ticket to the women's soccer team. So for Christmas, I got both my parents and myself season tickets to the Angel City FC soccer team, which is the new soccer club for women here in Los Angeles. So fine with that. That is not only something that I do regularly with my parents. We're going to have 12 games that we get to go to and hang out for. So fine with that. But it's also supporting this club, and I'm a huge soccer person. I am so excited for that season to start. And that's going to be my entertainment over the next 6 months are these season ticket soccer games. So because of that payment plan, it's $64 a month, I think for, was it like 6 months? Something like that. So just a little payment plan there. I also regularly donate $25 to the Nature Conservancy. I've never actually read that word before. I just recognize it. But one of the nature organizations, they're the ones that build like the overpasses for the animals. But that's just one of my monthly donations. I have $16 for Netflix. Netflix went up $3. Suck it, Netflix. That was rude. Spotify for $10. I don't like ads with my music. I'm a bigger music person than I am TV. No ads for me. And then $10 for a YouTube membership. That is a YouTube membership to my own channel. I have 2 memberships, one for myself, and then I pay for my mom's because I want her to see my vlogs, and she couldn't figure out how to do all that. I pay for my own membership just to make sure that things are posting properly, that you can see them all. And a lot of times they don't post properly. It doesn't work. The YouTube membership is still so beta and new that people don't even get notified when I post a video. It doesn't show up in my feed. It's almost like you have to go and seek it out. So it's helpful for me to have my own YouTube membership from a separate account just to kind of see how it works and see how people are finding it, because it's still really wonky. It's still really annoying, but I get to kind of get a back end view of it that way. So the total for my subscription categories is $260. That's a lot, but yeah, it's a lot, but I'm fine with it. The next section is transportation, which is a super quick one. I only got 1 tank of gas this month, which is pretty normal. I don't drive that much, and the only places I do drive to are back to visit my parents every 2 weeks. So 1 tank of gas for the month was $67, and that was at the very beginning of March, I think kind of before all the gas prices really go up. So it's probably gonna be more next tank of gas I get, but I don't control the gas prices, so who am I to complain? I paid $5 in total for the month in parking. I try not to drive my car again because I don't know how to parallel park, and parking in LA is so stressful. So this was cumulative of like just kind of metered parking throughout. Whenever I go to like an event or out to dinner, I almost never go to places where I have to pay like 20 bucks for parking, because in that instance, I will try to pay for public transportation. So only $5 for parking, which is pretty good. And then $20 I loaded onto my Metro card, which is the trade-off for parking. So that was a month worth of taking the train anywhere I needed to go. The total for my transportation for the entire month was $92. I think that's pretty good because I refuse to take Ubers. I hardly ever Lyft. I don't like spending money on that kind of stuff. So I'm fine if most of this went towards 1 tank of gas and a Metro card for transportation. So I am A-okay with that category. So that was the boring stuff. Are you guys still with me? That was like yeah, I need to get around, I need to eat groceries, and I need a roof over my head. Now, we'll get into the fun stuff where this is where you guys can judge me and be like, wow, you spent how much on what? Girl, get your life together and get a bank accountant. So let's go into that. The first round is gonna be shopping, just miscellaneous, discretionary shopping. And this is definitely the category where I was like, what the heck did I even buy? Why did I spend that much there? I don't even remember that, but let's go over it. The first item I spent money on was that Babetopia event. I actually did a whole video on that. That was $35. I actually do a lot of weird activities and events like this. I like to do super tourist trappy things, or I like to go to pop-up shops and things like that. So this is actually a pretty standard purchase for me. I like to go to one of these random events once or twice a month. So this is pretty okay. I spent $3 on a new Lightroom preset. Make sure to follow me on Instagram because I've changed my preset completely. So it'll be a whole new look on my Instagram. It's gonna be a lot more natural and shareable. So check that out there. Sephora. At Sephora, I spent $60. And I kind of had to think, I was like, what did I buy at Sephora? But it was the tail end of my skincare spending. So actually in February, I spent, I think, over $100 on skincare because that's when I got my modeling contract, and I actually had a makeup artist yell at me saying that I wasn't taking care of my skin well enough, that she wasn't, like, her product wasn't looking good on my face because of how poorly I was taking care of my skin. And I was like, oh man, she's right. So I had to go to Sephora and I had to buy a little bit more higher end skincare and really start building a skincare routine. And so I think this month spending the $60, I bought an exfoliant, like the Paula's Choice exfoliant, and then maybe a moisturizer. I forget, but I know it was some type of skincare. That again, I could see as like some type of business expense. I'm investing in my skin, which is the canvas for these modeling agency print ads, whatever. So I guess that one's okay. Next, I went to Goodwill and I spent $30. This was at, I think, 2 different Goodwills. I had a TikTok actually do pretty well of one of the pairs of pants that I bought, and it's now one of my favorite pairs of pants. So I was actually really excited about that. However, I did buy a dress that didn't actually fit. I bought a Shein shirt that I didn't realize it was Shein until after I bought it, but I've already worn that in a video. So these were just like some clothes that I bought. I buy clothes every month because I can't help it. But to me, I justify it in the sense of, at least I'm going to Goodwill and only spending $5 on it rather than going to Aritzia and spending $50 on a bodysuit I'm gonna wear once. So did I need this stuff? No, but it was only $30. So to me, it's like, well, it could have been worse. I spent $24 on one hair product. It was the Curl Origins Overnight Hair Mask. It got great reviews. And again, my hair is something that I need to start investing into taking care of it more and making it more healthy and lustrous. This one's fun. I spent $20 at a crystal shop. I'm exploring my spirituality. In fact, I think I have the next video you guys are gonna see is gonna be on this topic. But I think I spent $20 on like 2 crystals and some incense. It's something that I'm exploring, delving into, see if it's something that works for me. So again, no review there because I'm not fully explored or researched yet, but $20 at a crystal shop, interesting. $4 at a Dollar Tree, I don't know what to tell you there. I spent $25 at Target, $24 at Walgreens. That for sure was like beauty products. I think I needed more makeup remover or some face wash, or I think I needed more of the like cotton pads. So just like general beauty stuff. And then last in the spending category was I spent $25 at my gym to register for their dry triathlon. And that was like kind of a twice a year race that they do. And that was important to me to kind of set a baseline and achieve something. I was working really hard for it. I did train it and I did complete it in under an hour, which was my goal. So I was really proud of myself for that. I'm glad that I did it. It kind of pushed me both physically and mentally. So it was $25 just to sign up for this race, but I did get a water bottle, a workout towel, and a medal. So I don't know. I was fine with that one. So the total for miscellaneous and discretionary shopping was $245. That is actually pretty low for me, I would say, because the month before I had to spend a lot again on skincare, and I did get this modeling contract. So I had to buy, a nude pair of heels. I had to buy some plain shirts, some new bras, things like that. So last month's spending was even more than this. I think I've been spending more at Target lately, and maybe this month doesn't reflect that, but I would say it's actually pretty low for spending, so $245, I'll take it. The next category is food and entertainment, and this is the category that wildly varies for me every month. Again, I am not a foodie. I don't go out to restaurants. I don't like to try new things. I'm definitely a coffee person, so I spend a lot on coffee. So let's just take a look into that. So I spent $8 at Carl's Jr. because I was like, oh shoot, I haven't eaten today and I probably should. So a quick fast food thing. I spent $10 at Starbucks. That was, I think, 2 trips, so like a latte or whatever. It's an even $10 because I just load a certain amount onto my card. So there's probably still some left over, but $10 at Starbucks. So here we go. I spent $22 on sushi. That was probably 2 to 3 times going to sushi. I go to a super cheap corner shop for sushi that I don't recommend to anybody. I don't even say the name of it because it's so cheap and poor quality, but you get so much for your money. So I think I showed this in a vlog where I get 2 rolls and a miso soup for $8. So $22, that could be maybe 2 trips if I splurged on a specialty roll, or maybe 3, but $22 on sushi. So that is kind of one area that I do eat out on my own, but it's not even that expensive. I'm not going to Sugarfish and getting omakase and freaking like, this was just freshly caught today, enjoy. That'll be $80 for that bite. Nah, not me. Again, I don't care enough about food for all that. I'm fine with the cheap gas station sushi. I spent $7 on ice cream. Oh my gosh, you guys, I didn't tell you this. This was nuts. I was walking around this one like pretty common area here in LA and I saw Mindy Kaling. And this was right after I did my celebrity sightings video, which I was like, it was days after and I was like, what the heck? So I spot her in this, like near this ice cream shop. And so I was like, I guess the universe is telling me I need ice cream. So I go inside, I buy this $7 ice cream. It was from Jenny's Ice Cream. And then I went outside and I sat on a bench eating my ice cream next to Mindy Kaling. And I was just glowing. I didn't talk to her. She was with her daughter. And again, I don't like to talk to celebrities or like get photos of them by any means. But it was just kind of like this weird energetic feeling of just sitting there eating my ice cream, being in her presence. And that was kind of cool for me. So not like a planned purchase, but I spent $7 on ice cream. The most worth it item on this entire list, absolutely. So I definitely wanted to share that with you guys. I spent $10 at 7-Eleven. That's low. I spend a lot more at 7-Eleven, I think, because I like to go get a Coke Zero and a bag of peanut M&Ms whenever I'm feeling sad or when I just want to treat myself. So I guess I only did that once this month. That's kind of surprising. I usually do that about once a week. So only one trip to 7-Eleven this month. That's kind of interesting. I spent $10 at another coffee shop. It was Nimbus Coffee. I did a whole reel about that. You guys, it's a Harry Potter inspired coffee shop. It was so freaking cool in there. Their lattes, I got so many comments on that, like, oh my gosh, how was the coffee? And I told everybody, oh, it was probably the most expensive latte I've ever had. Again, I only got one drink and I spent $10, and I think that includes tip. Most expensive drink I've ever had, but it is a small Black-owned business that was so photogenic and so Instagram worthy that I was so happy spending that $10 and making a reel out of it. I got some content out of it, and it was a delicious latte. But I spent $35 at the movies. My mom and I went to go see Cyrano, and whenever I hang out with my mom, we kind of do a trade-off system. So she bought dinner and then I bought the movies. So I guess I got like a free meal there. So only $35 there. So in terms of food and entertainment, I only spent $100 this month. Well, just over 100. But again, I don't really go out to eat, and that is my trade-off for having such high rent. I could get a roommate or I could downsize and go out a little bit more, but that's not where my preferences lie. I prefer the comfort of having just me here, decorating however I want, leaving dishes for a couple days if I need to, and just living my best life. So around $100, is pretty normal. I would say pretty normal for me. And then into my business category. Wait, I messed up. Why did I put my babe event in shopping? Oh, I made a mistake. When I was talking about the shopping category and I talked about the babe event and how it was $35, that's true, but I put that there because I spent $35 on some of the small businesses. I don't remember. Oh, I bought my flower crown. That's what that went to. And then I bought, I forget what it was, but I spent money there in terms of shopping. So that's why that's in the shopping category. Now into my business category, this is where I separate where I'm doing something for the purpose of getting content out of it. So it's not just like friends invited me or I'm hanging out with family. It's like, I'm gonna do this for the purpose of making a YouTube video out of it, for getting a reel out of it. And so I have again here the babe event, which was $38, and that was the cost of the actual ticket. So that got confusing for me too, but so I guess in total on the babe event, I spent around $68. So I hope that makes sense. In terms of another business expense was I spent $7 at Walgreens. That was to print the photos for my vision board. So again, super cheap there, but I definitely wanted to include it. So this is where I was like, wow, my food and entertainment is actually a little bit on the lower side. It's because I put $165 in my business category for that LA Guidebook Determines My Day video. So I think it's the video that came out directly before this. And that was where I bought a book that kind of gave you eclectic day trips. And so I said, let me do a video where I follow one of the day trips. I ended up spending $165 for the day. That included my Metro Pass, a couple of meals, as well as a massage and a wonderful day at a women's spa. So is it really one of those like, oh, I'm doing this as a business expense for a YouTube video? Or was it because I just wanted an excuse to go to a women's day spa for several hours? Guess we'll never know. XOXO, Jacy's stupid. For that day, I had a very pricey day that day, and I have zero regrets because that is like the only day that I remember from this entire month. That is the one day where I've been talking about it and giving people recommendations and being like, oh my gosh, you know what I did recently? You gotta check out this spa. Or, oh my goodness, have you been to the Broad Museum yet? You have to go. It was so much fun. So that was expensive, but it got me out and about exploring LA and finding new fun things to do. I have no regrets there. So that could go into my entertainment category, but I'm gonna leave it into my business expense because again, the intention of it was to get content for it, but it just turned out to be a really fun day. So no regrets. And the last two items, which is gonna really push my finances over the edge, which I have no problem with, is I actually started acting classes. I am taking a commercial acting class, and it's all over Zoom right now, as most acting classes are. But that was $450, and that is for 6 weeks of classes. So again, this is a business expense because I do need to take classes. I do need to hone in my acting craft, but it is one of those things where I need classes on my resume in order to book more jobs. And then the textbook for that class was $25. Those classes have been super fun. I've been having a great time with them, but kind of pricey. So about $475 just towards acting classes. I'm fine with that. You can never go wrong with educating yourself and improving on your skills. So totally fine with that. Bringing the business category to $685. And again, you can like move $165 to that to food and shopping, but the rest is all pretty much like business or career-driven choices. All right, friends. Grand total, this is a drum. Hope I Jacy, add some drum sounds to this. For the grand total of how much I spent in a month living in Los Angeles is $3,425. Ding, 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 ding. Let me come back to center now. All right, so $3,470 something. I am fine with that number. I actually think that's a low spending month for me. One of the reasons for that is because it's actually sort of misleading. I bought a lot of flights this past month, but it's because I had credits. So it was kind of like I already spent the money, but I almost spent the money again, but like no real money came out of my bank account. I was supposed to go to New York over New Year's, but there was too big of a COVID spike that we canceled that. I was actually supposed to be in England as I'm filming this. I was supposed to be in London and then going to Dublin, and then my friends and I ended up canceling that trip as well. But so many flights, because of how hectic COVID is, they don't give you a refund, they just give you credits. So I did have to buy more flights for kind of rescheduled trips coming up, but no money came out of my bank account. But I'm still like spending that money, if that makes sense. So this number is kind of misleading in that sense. This video is also pretty eye-opening for me because my income is going to be decreasing significantly as I'm transitioning out of my full-time job and kind of pursuing more of the entertainment industry, because those jobs and those gigs aren't guaranteed. You really do have to work for them, and my income is going to vary month by month. So I am going to need to start, making a very strict budget and thinking about where I'm making those discretionary purchases. So this was helpful in realizing, maybe if I need to cut back on me, I absolutely can. I don't need to spend $30 a month on coffee. And that's always like the first thing that can go. But I don't want it to. I can go a month without going to a silly little activity or event. Like there are places that I can absolutely see in here where I can cut down on. But for the most part, I know how much money I make. And again, I'm not going to be sharing that income. I know how much I saved up during the pandemic. I know how much I saved living with my parents, that I know I'm going to be fine. So I don't want you guys to think like, Jacy, you need to hold back a little bit. Like, golly, girl, who do you think you are? Kim K going around to all these sushi dinners by yourself? Chill out. Nope, guys, I'm doing fine. So please know this is all based on income. So spend your money, however it makes you happy. As long as you're doing okay financially, that's all that matters. But that is how much I spend in a month living in LA. I do make sacrifices so that I can live alone. So you just need to prioritize what makes sense for you and how you want to live in terms of your lifestyle, and make sure that you can afford it. That's the big takeaway here, is that if you can afford to live that lifestyle and still be able to put some savings into the bank account, you live your best life, you guys. You do you. So let me know if this video was helpful or interesting or insightful, or let me know if you think that I spend way too much, where you guys recommend I could cut down, especially if I need to cut down in the coming months. I'll take your recommendations, or give me any tips, or where I can get cheaper subscription services. I will absolutely take any feedback that you guys have. But I thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It probably wasn't that like funny or story timey, but maybe just, again, a little bit more insightful. But I hope to see you guys in the next video. Toodles! So I really wanted to do a very, very holistic approach and literally detail every single cent that I spent, and detail literally every single cent. And I wanted to detail literally every spent I wanted. What the heck is going on?